Hey, welcome back to Rob's Garage Woodworking. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Canadian alcohol slang. And since it's the May 2-4 weekend this weekend, it's the perfect time. Okay, so May 2-4 weekend here in Canada is the official start of summer. It's the official start. It's the first party weekend. It's the first 3-day weekend of the summer. So it's kind of springish. You never know what the weather's going to be like, but you know what? We're going to be out and enjoying it no matter what. And so anyway, it's also known as Victoria Day. That's the proper term. We all just call it May 2-4. So, a case of beer. A case of beer is a 24 bottle or can case. So that, to us, it's just a 2-4, right? So if you're in Newfoundland, apparently a 12-pack is called a case. But for us, that would be a half case. Newfoundland, a 6-pack would be a half case. So they say. I think it depends on where you are, really, while you're there. So you've got 2, 4, 12, 6, right? Now, our bottles used to be like these Red Stripe. I grabbed these. I don't actually like Red Stripe, but I grabbed these just because our beer bottles used to look like this. And then they got changed to the taller, sexier American bottles, like this one. It's a bottle of Canadian. So they hold the same amount of beer, but they changed it to look, supposedly sexier, like the American beers. And there was a big kerfluffle about that whole thing. And they, the drinkers here said these stubbies were better because you get less air through it. When you're drinking, it's easier to drink. You don't get as much foam out of it while you're drinking. So there was a big pushback for that. But of course, they just went on and made the bottles, trying to make them sexier. So, what else is there? Oh, travelers. You're at the beer store or the liquor store, and somebody comes through with like 1 to 3 beers or whatever. And those are called travelers. And they're called travelers because they're going to drink them while they're driving up to the cottage or home for the long weekend, or just, they might work construction, they might drink all the time. So those are called travelers. Yes, drinking and driving still happens. I don't condone it, obviously. I don't drink and drive. But I was actually pretty confused when I went to the beer store, and I'm thinking, why would anybody buy less than 24? Which may speak something to me. About me, anyway. But all these people are coming in and buying like 2 beers. Well, what are you going to do with 2 beers? Like, come on. I guess it's for traveling on their way home from work. So a regular can is 355 ml, 12 ounces. And these are very common to get in like 2-4s, 12s, whatever, right? So very common size. And then you get the tall boy, and the tall boy is 16 ounce or 473 mil. And they're also very common. You can get those in 2-4s and 12s and whatnot, and singles. Now, the King can is a 20 ounce can, and they are not very common. You don't see these very often. Sometimes you'll see them at the beer store, sometimes at the liquor store, but not very frequently. It's just kind of a dumb size. All right, the party can. I couldn't even find any information on what people call these. Like, I don't even know anybody. I call them party cans because you'll take this to a party, and if somebody else has got a can this big and it's the same brand as what you're drinking, you know that they stole your beer, and you could feel free to, knock out a few chiclets there. So go with that one, right? Yeah, so that's it for cans. So, like I say, very common, not very common, stupid big, novelty. And there used to be an even larger stupid big novelty can, and I don't even know what size that is, but crazy stupid big. What? It's fun to bring to like a party or whatever, or just hand to your buddy or your mom or something, like at a barbecue. Hey mom, you want a beer? And you hand her one of these, right? So that's cool, but realistically, nobody buys these. This little guy here is 375 mils. We would call this a Mickey, and it is 12 ounces, right, in the States. And in the Collingwood whiskey I have here, we are at 750 mil, and we would call that a 26er. So a Mickey and a 26er are like your two top bottles that you would buy most often. You don't, unless you're buying it as a gift or you drink a whole lot of it, normally you don't buy anything bigger than that. Now, this one here, this is 1.14 liters or 40 ounces. We got a Long Island iced tea mix here. And yeah, we would just call that a 40. Either a 40 or a 40 pounder, right? And this guy here is some Bombay Sapphire London Dry Gin that the wife likes. And this is 1.75 liters, and we would call that a 60 pounder. And I just bought the 60 pounder for the video. And yeah, there's one more size that you can get, and it's kind of a novelty size, and we call that a Texas Mickey. And a Texas Mickey is 3 liters. So it's, this big. And usually it costs like $100 or something for one of those. So you buy that for a retirement present for a buddy, or, from work, or, for your dad for Christmas, you might get him, a Texas Mickey of Crown Royal or something silly like that, just for fun, right? It's just one of those things, right? It's more of a gift size. It's a novelty size, right? You don't often find very many types of alcohol in that size. You normally it's just not available. All right, so like everything else here in Canada, it's such a large country. People have no idea how big this place is until we get, till they come here. I had relatives come from Ireland, and it took them 6 hours to get from where they were near the border of Quebec to come down and visit my parents in the Niagara region. And that really, they were shocked that you would drive so far, and it's nothing. It's just this big on the map. It's nothing. So anyway, so slang is regional, and you're going to hear a different slang, you're going to have a different accent, and depending on where you are in Canada. So anyway, I just thought it'd be a fun video to make. I see lots of people, they're confused in what different things are and why we call them what we call them. Like a 2-4 a beer, it's a 2-4. There's 24, May 2-4, big party weekend. That's what we're getting, right? At least one. At least one. Maybe a 26er to go with that. Maybe some Mickeys of some other things. Anyway, that's it. Hope you found that entertaining, and thanks for watching. Cheers.